Okay, so in today's video, it is that time once again. I've done it on all my cars that I've had on the channel. We are, of course, going to talk about money. So as I mentioned, I've done these type of videos before on the cars that have been featured on my channel. It started with my Ford Fusion. I then did it on my F-150 while it was still stock and we were just leasing it. And then, of course, I did it in the AMG. And every time I've done these type of videos, people go crazy and, you know, become financial experts, and they wonder what the hell I'm doing and why do you pay so much for cars? And you should be buying a house, Mike. You should have a bigger house. You should be doing this, Mike. You should be doing that instead, Mike. And usually those financial experts, they don't understand what I do. They don't get the whole YouTube thing. And for most people, a car is, you know, it's an expense to get you from A to B, whether it's to go to work or pick up your kids from school and so on. It's never really a tool, so to speak, or an investment that you make money off of. So if you are one of those people, you're definitely going to want to stick around for this video, because I'm going to break down all the details of how much money I paid for the car, how much money I put down for the car, how much I financed, of course, and what my monthly payment is and for how long. You're going to have plenty of reasons to have a lot of opinions about me when this video is over. So let's go. So when I bought my Ford Fusion, I leased it for 3 years. My payment was $496 a month for a lease on a Ford Fusion. And a lot of people said, you know, that's way too high, dude, and all that stuff. Now, I'm from Sweden originally. I've lived in the United States since 2012. And it takes some time to build up credit history and that kind of thing. So when I got the Ford Fusion, I was carrying over some money from a Ford Focus. It was about $2,000. That was before YouTube, so that Focus was never featured on the channel. And I had limited credit or established credit, so my interest rate was a little higher. That's why I paid $496 a month on a lease on a Ford Fusion. We're gonna fast forward a little bit till when I got my first C63 AMG. Now, if you've watched that video already, you know that my payment was $1,200 on that car. I financed $80,000. And after that video went live, of course, there were a lot of people that were like, this guy's an idiot. Look at the house he's living in. He's buying this, you know, over $80,000 car, financing $80,000, only putting $9,000 down. That whole thing. There were a lot of financial experts in the comment section, and usually those are the people that, you know, don't work for themselves. They have a boss, they have someone telling them what to do, and you know, they have a 20-30 year mortgage. Now what I do is a little different. If this is the first video you're ever watching on this channel, I do content of cars, my own cars. I do car reviews, and that generates an income for me in ad revenue. I can understand that that's a different concept for a lot of people, and they don't really get how it works. They just see like, oh, okay, expensive car, paying this per month, that's crazy. But for someone like me and many other automotive YouTubers out there, the monthly payment on a car like that usually takes care of itself from the content that you produce on the channel. So I actually had two C63s. The first one I bought in, I think it was July or June 2017. It was totaled 7 weeks later. It hydrolocked. Now I got a second one from insurance in September, financed $80,000 on that one. I traded it in on May 2nd for this Ferrari F12 behind me, my dream supercar. The AMG before that was definitely my dream car, but I don't think you can call it a supercar. So Fusion F-150 and AMG in all honor. I mean, a car like this caliber here is obviously in a different league. They cost a whole lot more, so it's going to cost a whole lot more to own them as well. But I think making a video like this is a whole lot more interesting and more important as well on a Ferrari versus a regular car, because a lot of people that buy a car like this, you know, they're either very well off, or many times they're, you know, not that well off, and they want to pose like they're very well off. So a lot of people don't really like to talk about, you know, how they finance a car like this. You know, everyone doesn't buy cars like this cash. They are financed, as it is with me. Now, I want to be transparent and honest. I know a lot of people are going to get upset and think it's all crazy and stuff when we get to the numbers here, but this is my dream supercar. It's a dream come true to be able to own one and share it with you guys on the channel. It's awesome for content. You guys have loved the video so far, and I'm just a very, very blessed human being to be able to do this. So how did I acquire this car? I mean, how much money did I put down, and how much did I finance, and so on. So the AMG, as we mentioned, I borrowed $80,000 on this car in September 2017. My payment was $1,200 a month. Now, as you can see right here, it is actually the last payment slip that I got from Citizens Bank. It's showing a balance of $14,700 or $600 or something like that. Now that's not the payoff. The payoff is usually a little higher. They add on some fees and stuff like that. My payoff on the car was, or what I still owed on the car, was $14,700. So that goes to show you over 18 months of making payments on that car, because my last payment I made on the car was March this year. I paid down $67,000. So on average, I paid around $3,800 to $3,900 a month on my AMG, and that's not because I had to do that, but that's because I wanted to do that. I wanted to get the loan down. I knew I was going to be able to do it. I wasn't just going to pay $1,200 a month. I wanted to get some equity in the car for whenever I was going to sell it or trade it in for something else. And my plan all along was to, of course, get a supercar. That's what I want. And specifically a Ferrari F12, which I now have. I absolutely love this car. Naturally aspirated V12, 6.3 liter, 731 horsepower, 509 pound-feet of torque. But what we all want to know, of course, is the numbers on this car right here. So how did a regular Joe Schmo like myself buy a car like this for? And what are now my monthly payments? Well, there's a couple factors that play into this here. I traded my AMG in at Marshall Goldman Motor Sales. Before I traded the car in, I went there. I actually made a video because I'd found this car online. They appraised the car and they gave me the value, which was $71,000 on trade, which I thought was pretty good. I'd had the car for almost 2 years. I put 22,000 miles on it. Yes, I put money into the car, mods and so on, lowered it, wheels, tuned, that whole shebang. But the cost of those modifications I had already made back from the videos I made about the modifications on the C63. So I leave Marshall Goldman. I'm thinking like, I think it's time now to possibly trade the AMG, and my dream was to be able to keep the C63, but to be realistic, I have to trade it in. I can't afford to keep that car and then buy this as well. I just couldn't afford it. So I drive home with a huge smile on my face. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna try to make this happen. I want this specific Ferrari F12 right here. It has the red Rosso interior. That's what I wanted. It's spec'd the way I want. It has the passenger display. It has the suspension lift that not all F12s have. It's just a car that I want. A day or two after that, it's Easter Sunday. My wife and my stepdaughter and I were on our way to Easter brunch, and a guy ends up hitting us in an intersection. I made a whole video about this as well. I'll link it down in the description if you guys want to check that out. But long story short, now my car has been damaged and it's pending a Carfax. Of course, I call the dealer from where I was going to buy the car. I've sold cars myself. I know what this does to the value of a car. When a customer comes in on a used car they want to buy and they ask for the Carfax and it says accident reported on there, it doesn't specify exactly what happened, and the customer gets scared to death. It could be something pretty serious, or it could be a minor little ding, shopping cart that flew into the door and they chose to have insurance repaint the whole door. Either way, it shows an accident on the Carfax, so that obviously devalues the car. In my case, my appraised value went down from $71,000 to $62,500. So now I'm not as much of a happy camper anymore because I feel like I've lost a lot of money. Now, long story short, I took the AMG to a body shop. They assessed the damage to be $2,400. My insurance company immediately issued me a check, and about 10 days later, the guy who hit me, his insurance company calls me, and obviously they said, we accept responsibility. It's on our client. It's his fault. So I'm like, okay, great. Diminished value. I've lost a lot of money on my car. They go, well, our client only had you know, liability or whatever. So his insurance only covers about $5,000. So an even longer story short, I'm now fighting his insurance company for diminished value of my car. And no matter how we twist and turn all this stuff, I'm still not going to get the full $8,500 back. I got the $2,400 from my insurance company for the damage that was never fixed on the car. I traded the car in as it was. So I got $2,400 back, yes, but they're still missing, you know, whatever it is, $5,500 there. And yeah, I'm gonna try to get as much as I can now after the fact, because I wanted this car right here. I couldn't risk that the car was going to be sold, you know, have the AMG fixed and still being, you know, devalued, that whole 9 yards. So I traded the car in. I mean, we were already working a deal on the F12, and it just is what it is. So instead of me having $71,000 minus what I owed, so that means that I have over $55,000 in equity on the C63. Well, no, because he hit me and the car is all of a sudden only worth $62,500. So I know it's been a lot of rambling here, but I felt that I had to explain, you know, my financial situation, how I came to be able to buy this car. And basically I've been shifting equity from the AMG to the F12. So if we get down to the nitty gritty here, I ended up being able to have $50,000 down on this car. Now it cost $255,000. Now on a car with that price tag, the taxes on it, and where I live is 7%, it's over $13,000. So I'm financing $222,000 for 84 months. I almost forgot there. My payment is, I haven't actually gotten the first payment slip, but it's $3,500 and some change dollars per month. Oh! So yeah, everyone take a breather. I know a lot of you guys are, oh my God, and some people watching this video, they're like, man, that's cheap. I pay like, you know, $5,000-$6,000 a month on my car. And if you think that 7 years is a long time to finance on a car like this, think again. The first question they asked me, how long do you want to finance? And they asked me if I wanted to finance for 12 years. And I said, what? Is that even possible? Because the cars that I've been selling before, obviously they're not in the same price range. You know, 7 years was definitely the longest a bank would finance you. But on a car like this, people actually finance them for over 10 years, even 12. And yes, my interest rate is definitely a little higher. It's around 7.5% to 8%. And no, I'm not going to keep the car for, you know, 7 years and pay the full interest. I'm going to pay more per month on this car as well, which goes to principal. Of course, I don't pay that interest rate on that. And if I decide to keep it, I'll just have the car refinanced and get a better interest rate when the loan is a little lower. So there we have it. It's $3,500 a month on my Ferrari F12, but it's actually less per month than I've been paying on average on the AMG, because if we did the math, I paid $67,000 over 18 months, and that's an average of around $3,900. And again, I didn't have to pay that, but I did. The cars that I have on the channel at the time, my AMG, now my Ferrari, my F-150, my wife's Raptor, even the Hoopty, although I paid cash for that. That's the main part of my business, and all of that is actually a write-off. Everything I do on the channel, when I travel, you know, when I buy modifications for the cars, when I get gas, when I make the monthly payment, when I pay the insurance on the cars, everything is a write-off. So obviously I'm not doing a video like this to brag at all. I don't think anyone thinks that I'm bragging. I think a lot of you people out there think that I'm stupid, but now maybe you understand a little better that, you know, every dime I spend on cars generates a return for me because I create content from that. And last year, not just on YouTube, on my full income, I'm going to talk about my income here. I actually don't really like talking about like the full income, but I'm going to do it anyway. This video is all about being transparent, so I'm going to just say what I made last year was $232,000, as I'm showing you guys here. That's from ad revenue and also from, you know, sponsorships and stuff like that. Now, my net income profit on that was around $26,000. So you can see that my expenses were around $200,000. But that involves all of these cars and me living my dream. being able to drive the cars of my dreams, the trucks of my dreams, travel wherever I want, whenever I want, create content, and have all that be a write-off. So it's obviously not about, hey, honey, I'm just gonna go buy a Ferrari F12 to, you know, drive and pick Sydney up from school every now and then, go, you know, buy groceries, and that's that. No, this is my business. It's my office. It generates an income for me, and that's why someone like me and other YouTubers that do what I do will understand this. You can justify a cost like that because it's a write-off. It generates income for you. It's a business. Now I know it's not going to matter for some people out there how much I try to explain this, and you know, it sounds like I'm, you know, justifying something that's not working and so on. But the thing is, I'm living my life on my terms. I'm living my dream. I'm running my own business. I'm free in a sense that I never was when I was an employee. And a lot of people say, well, you know, YouTube, it can go down tomorrow. You know what? I don't think it's going to, but yes, the truth of the matter is that it could. But to me, it comes down to a difference in mentality. You know, employees talk a lot about, you know, job security and so on, but employees that work for someone else, building someone else's dream, they are replaceable. Unless you have some super duper expertise in a field that pretty much no one else has or very few people have, you don't really have job security. You don't. You could be fired, you could be replaced. Yes, YouTube could shut down, but I've built a social media platform where I can still make a living online. There's a bee here. That's nice. I've built a social media presence where it's by far not the biggest one amongst the automotive YouTubers, but I know that I can make a living online, planes, even if YouTube wasn't around in the future. But having your own online business is a lot of work. You have to depend on yourself. You're only relying on yourself. You're not relying on an employer per se. You're not relying on someone taking care of your taxes. You're not relying on someone, you know, paying your health insurance. You're not relying on a company to, you know, take care of your 401k. There's definitely a difference in mentality between someone that rather has their own business versus someone that rather work for someone else. And I'm not downing being an employee or anything. Here's what it comes down to: being happy. If you're happy working a job, whatever job that is, that's what matters. I can't tell you shit. No one can tell you shit, because it's about being happy. It's not just about making a certain amount of money. I'm happy doing what I do. I mean, how can I not be? I'm a car guy. I just bought my dream supercar, Ferrari F12. I have my dream truck. I got my wife her dream vehicle. We can live the life that we want to live. We can get up and travel, fly wherever we want, whenever we want. It's a freedom, but it's also a big, big responsibility. And I love that responsibility. So I just want to say to anyone out there who's watching this video and you have a dream you want to pursue, I say go for it. But know that it's going to be a pretty long road. It's going to take a lot of hard work. Stuff doesn't happen overnight. It sure as hell did not for me. And I get a lot of questions from people regarding YouTube, starting up a YouTube channel and so on. I'm not going to rabble about this for too long, but you know, a lot of people ask, you know, what do I need? Like, how do I get started and so on? Just get started. All you need with YouTube, what's so great with it is, especially in the beginning, there's no overhead. You create a channel for free. You film your passion, whatever that is, you upload it to YouTube. You stick with it, and you're gonna stick with it if you enjoy what you're doing. If you get into YouTube just because, oh, I wanna get a paycheck, I wanna earn money on YouTube, I wanna buy cars, I wanna do this, I wanna do that, I see someone else doing it and it looks easy and I wanna do that. It's not easy. But for me in the beginning, I wasn't even thinking about money. I didn't know you can make money on YouTube. I was doing it because I enjoyed it. Then when I understood that you can monetize your channel and earn money, even on the videos I had already done, my eyes went boom. I saw the opportunity and I just ran with it. My first check I ever got from YouTube was for a month and a half. I hit $171 and the rest is history. I'm so happy that I took that step, even when I left my regular 9 to 5, although it was like a 9 to 9 working in the car business. That was a huge step. It was scary. Half of my income was cut in half. I was making like $4,000 or $5,000 a month from YouTube at the time. But you know, I just wanted to go with it. I wanted to chase my dream, and it's been the best decision I ever made in my life since then. I'm living the life I want to live. So remember, stick with your dream. Don't ever give up. If you give up, it wasn't really, really, really what you wanted anyhow. There's going to be so many humps along the road. Even when you feel like you've made it, a hump's going to come. And you have to get through it. But every time a new hump comes, it gets easier to get past that hump. That's just how life works. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I know it sounds cliche, but that cliche saying is around because it is true. For me, it's creating automotive content on my YouTube channel, and a lifelong dream for me was to own a supercar, specifically a Ferrari F12. And like I said, a lot of people, you know, always have something to say about the decisions you make, and it's always the people that don't know anything about you. They don't understand what you do, but they always want to have a very, very strong opinion about you. And you know, other people say, well, you should have bought, like, you know, a bunch of project cars instead, and created a bunch of content with that. And yeah, I could have done that. And well, I don't know if I could have done it. I'm not a wrencher, so, but technically I could have done that. Maybe I made even more money, I don't know. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted to get this car, and now I have it. So I achieved a dream, and I'm happy about that. Yeah, it cost me a lot of money, but the channel generates so much more. So that's why I now can afford a Ferrari F12. And in a separate video, I think I might talk about, you know, the process of even getting a loan like this the first time. Obviously, you know, you need great credit and all that stuff, but it's when you get up in certain loan amounts and you haven't borrowed that much before on a car, even though you've been financed all day long before on even expensive cars, but not this expensive, a bank's gonna be hesitant. You know, even if you have good income and even if you have great credit. But yeah, I think I'll save that for a separate video. This one has dragged on long enough, but I hope you guys enjoyed this upload. I hope it answered a lot of your questions. I know a lot of you guys wanted to see this video, so here it is. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you're stopping by for the first time and you haven't already, and you want to, please subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.